Welcome back. Last month, the new musical A Night with Janis Joplin made its debut on Broadway. Starring as the legendary rock and roll queen, at the heart of the show is a performer named Mary Bridget Davies. Davies, a Broadway newcomer, has actually been portraying Joplin on stage for years in various productions about the singer's life. Contributing correspondent Patrick Pacheco recently got the chance to chat with Davies about her journey with Janis Joplin.
Welcome, Mary Bridget Davies, and thank you for giving us a piece of your heart in A Night with Janis Joplin.
Thank you very much.
Joplin was only a public figure for about 3 years, had few hits, and yet why do you suppose she's had such an outsized influence on popular culture?
Really, when you say popular culture, that's what really resonates with me, because she's part of that Forever 27 club, these musicians that were trailblazers of their time that died soon, and there's always that mythos around like the death and the what could have been. So they're kind of magically tragic figures, and there's something about we as American people, and well, just as human beings in general, just like that pop culture. She was also really the queen of rock and roll in a part of the history, American history, where life was changing and everyone was finally really expressing themselves and people were standing up for their rights, and she had happened to really accidentally be at the helm of that.
She was the queen at a time when there were no other, apart from maybe Grace Slick,
right,
women out there. What sort of toll did that exact on her?
Well, like the women before her, it was a great cost. When you, as the generations have gone on, it's become a lot easier. Like I say, I feel very spoiled to have had Janis before me, and, you know, Bessie Smith and the others before her, because as a woman in this industry and in music, and especially during that time, you forfeit the right to a husband and family. Your art comes first at that time. And because it was just unheard of that a woman would be out on the road, you know, for 200 nights a year and then have a family and a husband at home. So there is that loneliness that followed Janis around, which started in her youth, but the chosen profession or whatever, what chose her in reality, it was a very lonely place.
She sang from the very marrow of her bones. The show must demand the same of you.
Yes.
How do you do that and not go around the bend as she did?
I think because I've had the opportunity to be spoiled and to have had the experience of being on the road and everything like that, but always knowing that I was accepted for that by my friends and family. There wasn't this pioneering, this wandering spirit to it, so I always knew I had a place to come back to. Whereas when Janis was, you know, really venturing out, she made enemies at home, and it was really kind of a one-person operation, and that is where, when you get into the loneliness and you're by yourself, that's when all those the bad guys on your shoulders start talking to you, and you can really start hand over fist making mistakes, and you know.
And even at her most wasted, like at Woodstock,
yeah,
when she was on heroin and on her beloved Southern Comfort,
right,
she was still able to pull it out. Was there some part of her that protected it, or was it just this, you know, sort of brain synapse that she was able to connect with the music?
Yes, I believe that due to her intense love of blues and that medium of self-expression for singing, that no matter how intoxicated she ever became, that real through line, that passion was always there and wouldn't fail her, because that really was the joy of it all. She became famous for doing what she loved. She didn't just get famous and then figure it out. You know, it's kind of backwards these days. It's a little bit, and it was always that driving force and that passion for the music and that expression that kept her in that through line. I think that's why she was able to, even if she was very wasted, able to, you know, pull it off.
You were born 8 years after she died.
Correct.
Do you envy anything about the time and place that you've immersed yourself in, that decade and you've immersed yourself in for almost a decade. You've been playing a version of Janis since 2006.
Right. Absolutely. I've always said I was born at the wrong time. And there was just something so moving and groundbreaking about that generation, the time in pop culture. And how, I mean, really taking a stand for the first time. It's kind of America growing up. Like it was America's awkward young adult years moving into adulthood, kind of. And it was exciting and fresh and new, and people were taking chances. And I mean, it's rock and roll, so come on. I mean, how more visceral and real and raw can you get? And so I'm definitely with my parents. I definitely was like, well, I wish I could have been there.
We have to finish up, but we should probably mention that you're also with the Joplinaires, who are terrific in the show as well. These women who so influenced her, and also that you have a new album.
Yes.
Wanna Feel Something.
Wanna Feel Something, and it was nominated for a Blues Music Award 2013 for Best New Artist Debut. So.
Well, congratulations on your Broadway debut. Congratulations on everything that's happening with you.
It's crazy.
Somewhere up there, Janis is smiling.
I hope so.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And you can catch Mary Bridget Davies starring in A Night with Janis Joplin at the Lyceum Theater. Okay, it's time for a